it allows ICE to kick tens of millions of people off the rolls, and they don't tell them until Election Day, and you show up and you say, you're not registered anymore, you're not registered here, you're not on the rolls. And they say, I didn't know that.
So that is Chuck Schumer admitting the quiet part out loud, that if Congress should pass the Save America Act, then tens of millions of illegal immigrants would be kicked off the voter rolls. Because we know the Save America Act will not kick citizens off the voter rolls. So in theory, the only people that would be affected are non-citizens if they're registered to vote. And that is exactly what this law was designed to do. That is exactly why millions of Americans support this law. So I don't know if Chuck Schumer is actually getting old, which is the reason why he came out and said this, or maybe he's just telling the truth for once. But what we know is that ever since President Donald Trump demanded that Congress pass the Save America Act, is that Democrats been panicking. And here we have another clip of Chuck Schumer claiming that ICE and Elon Musk will be working together to kick citizens off the voter rolls. Take a look.
This is a bill that destroys the country, and it is not about showing ID when you show up to vote. It's about the voter registration rolls, destroying them, purging them, not letting people know, and taking the rights in a algorithm put together by ICE, put together by Doge and Musk. It's an outrage, and that's why so many people don't want to pass it.
So this right here is a blatant lie, because what we know is that Elon Musk is no longer working with the administration. So you cannot blame Elon Musk for this. And as I said, what the Democrats they're trying to do, they're trying to essentially rally their base to fight against this bill, because this bill is largely popular with the American people. So they're telling their base that Elon Musk will be working with ICE, because we know the left, they hate Elon Musk and they hate ICE. So what Chuck Schumer is attempting to do here is to create a common enemy, which is Elon Musk and ICE. But it is ironic because I have a clip here to show you of Chuck Schumer when he just got to Congress and he was advocating for ID to prevent fraud. Take a look at this.
Let's admit the truth. Everywhere people go, they're asked for a Social Security card. In fact, one way to prove you're a bona fide person who can have a job is to ask for a driver's license and a Social Security card. This is an anti-fraud amendment. Over where we go, people say, well, why can't you stop illegal immigrants or others from coming here? And the number one answer we give our constituents is when they come here, they can get jobs, get benefits against the law because of fraud.
What they are proposing in this so-called SAVE Act is like Jim Crow 2.0.
Let's admit.
It is crazy how politicians do a complete 180, because what we have here is Chuck Schumer advocating for ID to prevent against fraud regarding Social Security. And now what he's saying in today's day and age is that requiring IDs to vote is like Jim Crow 2.0, which we know voting is one of the most sacred duties any citizen can carry out. But according to Chuck Schumer, it is racist, it is sexist to require ID to vote, requiring to show proof of citizenship to vote. But Chuck Schumer isn't the only Democrat on Capitol Hill that's having a hard time justifying the opposition to this bill, because we have Senator Tim Kaine, who stated that the Save America Act will affect kids when it comes to voting. Take a look at this. You just cannot make this up.
President Trump said that he's not going to sign any bills until the SAVE Act is passed. Now Chuck Schumer saying there's going to be a total Senate gridlock. You guys are not going to work with him at all. How do you feel about that personally? Isn't that a betrayal to the American people, considering 85% of voters support voter ID?
But they don't support disenfranchising American citizens who are registered to vote. They don't. 1 in 10 registered voter would have a hard time meeting this, and mostly women, young kids, senior citizens. We don't want to disenfranchise folks, and I don't think American public want to disenfranchise registered voters either.
But most citizens have access.
So there's a few things here. For one, how are kids being disenfranchised when it comes to voting? Because kids aren't supposed to be voting. You have to be 18 or older in order to vote. And two, clearly Democrats are panicking. Because ever since President Trump demanded that Congress pass the Save America Act, you see the Democrats running around not knowing what to do. And the third thing, they're claiming that women won't be able to vote. And here we have Karoline Leavitt debunking this talking point by the Democrat.
So one of the biggest things that the Democrats are saying, the claims that they're making, is that the Save America Act, it would prevent married women from voting in election.
There is zero validity to these claims, and I'm glad that you brought them up, because you have the Democrats who have created this myth, and it has been perpetuated, unfortunately, by many in the mainstream media. Let me be very clear. The Save America Act does not prohibit anyone from voting, with the exception of illegal aliens. And as far as married women who have changed their name, if they're already registered to vote, they're entirely unaffected by the SAVE Act.
So as you can see, women will not be affected by the Save America Act. And the reason why the Democrats are using this talking point is because they tried out the talking point of saying black people would not be able to obtain IDs. And what we saw is that the community came out in large and debunked that talking point. And now the Democrats are trying to use women as a political prop. But the American people sees right through that, and they will not fall for it. And politicians aren't the only one who are spilling these lies. Because recently we had failed comedian Jimmy Kimmel pretty much echoing the talking points of Democrats. Take a look at this.
Trump wants to make it as difficult for Democrats to vote as he possibly can under the guise of stopping voter fraud, even though there is no meaningful voter fraud. There is no evidence that anyone can. More Americans were eaten by wolves last year than voted fraudulently. This is about fixing the election. He made a big mess in Iran.
So I don't have much comments on Jimmy Kimmel or Kimmel, whatever his name is. I just wanted to show you this clip because I don't think Jimmy Kimmel is a comedian at this point. He's nothing but a political operative. He's nothing but an individual with severe Trump derangement syndrome. Because every night, this guy is talking about Donald Trump. And he claims to be a comedian. And right here, he's claiming that there are no voter fraud at all. That illegals aren't voting. Illegal immigrants aren't voting. But if you've been watching the channel for a while, I've outlined plenty of stories where illegal immigrants were found to be voting. And here I have a clip, I have this clip to show you, of this woman that illegally came to the United States, that stole someone's identity, and then proceeded to vote. Take a look at this reminder.
A jury just convicted a woman in Massachusetts of voter fraud. She also stole more than $400,000 in federal benefits.
We're talking about a 59-year-old illegal immigrant who's been in the country for years, stole someone else's identity, and then voted in the 2024 presidential election. Take a look at this photo here. This is Lina Maria Arovio Hernandez. In this picture, you can see her, Martha, wearing that I voted sticker that we all get when we go to cast our ballots. She's also convicted of stealing $400,000, as you mentioned, in benefits.
So this is why people don't trust mainstream media. Because all they do is lie. Because according to Jimmy Kimmel, there's no voter fraud. That what President Trump is trying to do is trying to prevent Democrats from voting. How can you stand there knowing that a majority of Americans, we're talking about over 80% of Americans, supports voter ID, supports showing proof of citizenship in order to vote? And here we have another story, another example of voter fraud, where a group of election workers changed absentee ballots. Take a look at this.
3 women accused of rigging a bunch of absentee ballots. Court documents filed today in Monroe County reveal a grand jury indicted 67-year-old Sharon Denson, 46-year-old Samantha Kiles, and 59-year-old Sarah Bennett for illegally filling out and submitting ballots during the Frisco City municipal election in August of 2025. Those same records show Denson changed 7 people's ballots, Kiles altered 4 people's ballots, and Bennett changed 9 people's ballots.
But according to the Democrats, there's no voter fraud. Our elections are the safest elections in the world. That is what the Democrats always say. But what we're seeing here is that illegal immigrants are voting. What we're seeing here is that election workers are actively changing absentee ballots, which is why we need the Save America Act to be passed to prevent stuff like this. And here we have J.D. Vance actually calling out the hypocrisy of the Democrats in regards to voter ID.
The Democrats will say, Laura, well, voter ID is not necessary because nobody who's not allowed to vote ever votes in our elections. And my response to that is, well, if nobody who shouldn't vote does vote, then why do you care if we check their ID just to be extra careful?
And I agree with the vice president. If there's nothing to worry about regarding voter ID, why not just vote for the Save America Act? And that brings us to the end of today's show. Please let me know in the comment section what you think. Also, please consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.